Greetings everyone, welcome to another game in the 1987 Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced American League replay, full replay all the way through. Last video I did was on the April 18th day in the season between the Royals and the Yankees. Now we're at April 19th, and the game I'm going to do on the live stream video is Minnesota at California. But when I looked at the schedule for April 19th, there were two double headers. Cleveland and Baltimore played a double dip in, I believe it was in, I'm not sure if it was in Cleveland or Baltimore, I don't remember. But the Yankees and Royals are played a double header at Yankee Stadium on April 19th. So I thought it'd be kind of novel to do a double header. But I decided to do it as a recording just to, so it wouldn't be so long. And then that way I can pause and take a break and whatever. And it would hopefully seem seamless on you guys' end. Had the game up on the computer. I'm going to score it as I play it. So let's go ahead and get going. You can see the starting lineups. I don't have any accoutrements tonight. Today as you're watching it, hopefully, because I'm going to try to put this on Friday morning. Or not Friday morning, Friday afternoon around, Friday morning actually around 11 o'clock. Want to get it done before 1 o'clock, so people taking lunches on Friday can maybe watch this during lunch break or just catch it anytime they choose. So Kansas City at New York, ballpark effects, singles are 1-7 for both lefties and righties. Home runs, lefties are 9, righties are 8. We look at the starting pitchers. It's Charlie Leibrandt, who's 0-0, against Charles Hudson, who's 0-0. Pitcher-catcher interface. With Leibrandt, it's a -1 because he is a -2, but Quirk's a +1. Hudson is going to have, did I do Hudson? I didn't do Hudson yet. He's a -2. Cerrone's a -1, so he's actually going to be a -3. So that might try to slow down the Kansas City running game a little bit. Wild pitch rating for Leibrandt's a 7. His balk is a 5. Hudson's wild pitch is a 6. His balk is a 0. All right, there's your starting lineups. Willie Wilson in center, Kevin Seitzer at first, George Brett at third, Frank White at second, Tartabull in right, Bo Jackson in left, Balboni the DH, Jamie Quirk catching, and Angel Salazar bats ninth playing shortstop. For the Yankees, it's Ricky Henderson in center, Willie Randolph at second, Don Mattingly at first, Dave Winfield bats cleanup and plays right field, Gary Ward is in left field hitting fifth, the designated hitter Ron Kittle will hit sixth. With the lefty on the mound, Len Sakata is at third base in place of Pagliarulo. He will bat seventh. Rick Cerrone, the catcher, will bat eighth, and shortstop Wayne Tollison will bat ninth. The real-world score of this game, Kansas City dropped the first game of the doubleheader to the Yankees 5-0. In the replay, Kansas City enters the game 3-6. The Yankees enter the game 6-4. So hopefully that's all the prelims out of the way. Got our dice here. Got the game up on the computer, as I say, and I'll score it as I'm playing it. And pitching for the Yankees is Charles Hudson. On the replay, he's 0-0 with a 1.86 ERA, 10 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 walks, and 10 strikeouts. In the full season, he was 11-7 with a 361 earned run average. So Hudson is on the mound. Willie Wilson will step to the plate and lead things off for the Royals. Wilson's hitting .225 in 40 at-bats. A home run and 2 runs driven in. And I believe, double check it, but I believe we are ready to go. I think all the preliminaries are now out of the way, and we can get this game rolling. Game 2 starters, it'll be Tommy John for the Yankees and Mark Gubaza for the Royals, or as ID Jester likes to call him, Mark Gubaza. That will be the starters in Game 2. All right, so Hudson will deliver to Willie Wilson. And the game 1 of the doubleheader is underway. 6-8. Hudson against the lefty. 6-8 is a strikeout. So Willie Wilson begins the doubleheader with a strikeout. One away. That brings up first baseman Kevin Seitzer. Seitzer hitting a .171 in 35 at-bats. Not doing so well. A homer and 2 runs driven in. That's a 2-5, and that's a ground ball to short, which Tollison will take care of. And just that quickly, there are 2 up and 2 down. For the venerable George Brett. Brett hitting .333, 9 for 27 on the season. a home run and 5 runs driven in. 112, that's a fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Kansas City, as Charles Hudson dispatches the Royals pretty quickly. 3 up and 3 down, can't do much better than that. We go to the bottom of the first, it's Kansas City nothing, and the Yankees coming to bat. And Charlie Leibrandt on the mound, he is 0-0 with a 1.42 earned run average. 13 innings pitched, 6 hits, 2 walks, and 12 strikeouts. And in the real world, he was 16-11 with a 341. So Leibrandt steps in there, and he'll be facing the very fast Rickey Henderson. Henderson on the replay is hitting .238 in 42 at-bats. No homers or runs driven in. He has stolen 4 bases and walked 10 times. It's a 4-7 right-handed. That's a ground ball second base X. Our very first X chance of the ball game. Frank White's a 2 with an E11. So as a 2 at second base, he just has to have a 3 or higher, which he does. And now as an E11, he's got to avoid 15, 17, and 18. Which he does. So nice play for Frank White. Rickey Henderson is dispatched. Good idea if you're the Royals to keep Rickey off the bases. And that'll bring up Willie Randolph, hitting .243 in 37 at-bats. No homers and 2 runs driven in. 2-5, I guess the left-hander, that's a 1-4 double. That's a 17, so it will be just a single. But it is the first hit of the ball game. And it comes from Willie Randolph. He can try to get the lead. He needs a 3 to acquire the lead. It is a -1 quotient, so if he gets the lead, it'd be a total of -3 here, which make it 1-16, but that's good enough to try it. So he needs a 3. It's the only way he gets the lead. He gets a 4, but that's a 1. Possible pickoff here. It's possible he could be picked off. His secondary number is a 6, so we have to roll a 6 or less. Anything higher than 6, and Willie Randolph is picked off. He's a 6 immediately. He makes it back just in time by the skin of his teeth, and that's the danger of trying for the lead. You roll that 1, you get a chance of being picked off, but he does get back ever so quickly. Sites are kind of disputing the call with the umpire, but the umpire says play on. So Randolph cannot get the lead now because he was attempted to be picked off, so he has to hold. And here comes Don Mattingly. Leibrandt to Mattingly. That's a 4-5 left-handed. That's a pop out to second base. Frank White is all over it. And there's 2 away. Randolph still at first base with 2 outs for Dave Winfield, George Steinbrenner's favorite Yankee. Winfield is hitting .262 in 42 at-bats, 2 homers and 5 runs driven in. Nothing on the havoc. Here is the pitch to Winfield. 4-7, and that is a ground ball second base X once again. Randolph was being held, so that's going to affect Frank White. He now becomes a 3 E11 because he's holding the runner. So as a 3, he has to have a with holding the runner a 3. He has to have a 9 or better to get to this, 9 or higher. He does with a 10 barely. So a 10 will be a G2, so it'll be a force play as long as there's no error. And that is an 11. E11, there is no 11 there, so he will get the force play to end the inning. It's going to go 4-6. Winfield is out on the force play, and that's going to end the inning. So fielder's choice to finish out the inning. And at the end of 1, we got no score from the Bronx. Even though it's a doubleheader, I still like to take my time. A little methodical, maybe too methodical for some people, I don't know. Hopefully not. So Frank White, who made that nice play on the fielder's choice, will lead things off. Frank White hitting .206, 1 homer, 4 runs driven in, and 34 at-bats. 3-7, ground ball to third. That's Len Sakata getting a rare start at third base today, but with the lefty on the mound, they're giving Pagliarulo game 1 off of the doubleheader. He'll be at third in game 2. But for game 1, he is going to be on the bench to start, and Sakata gets his chance. And now that will send up Danny Tartable And Tartable is really struggling, hitting a .194 in 36 at bats, a homer and 4 runs driven in. It's a 5-6, and that's a 1-4 double, but that's a 12, so he will fly to center, where Ricky Henderson puts it away. 2 down, and it's going to bring up Bo Nose. Bo had a rough game yesterday in this replay. See what he does now. He's hitting .265, 1 homer and 3 runs driven in 34 at bats. 4-4, and that is a fly ball center field X. That's Ricky. Ricky's a 2E10, so center fielder as a 2. He needs to have a 4 or higher to get to this. And it's a 4 on the money, so he just does get to it. It's an F1. Runner would have advanced if somebody was on base. He's an E10, center field. He's got to avoid 3, 4, 14, 16, and 18. And he does. So Ricky Henderson makes the tough catch to end the inning. Another 3 up and 3 down for the Royals. Oops. Another 3 up and 3 down for the Royals. And we go to the bottom of the second still. Goose eggs on the board. And Lee Brandt back out. He will be facing left fielder Gary Ward, DH Ron Kittle, and third baseman Len Sakata. So Gary Ward hitting .231 in 39 at bats, no homers, 6 driven in. Lee Brandt 2-3 for Ward against the lefties. A ballpark single check, which is 1-7. That's a 17. Would be a line out to short, but I'm going to keep the pop out to first just to keep the variety. Not have so many lineouts to short and second. Since no one's on base and it doesn't affect anything, I will keep the pop out to first. That'll bring up Ron Mon, Paul Kittle. He's hitting .333, 8 out of 24. 3 home runs and 9 runs driven in. 1-4, and he will draw the free pass. So walk to Kittle, he will not be held. So he does not run well at all. And that will bring up the third baseman, Len Sakata. Sakata in limited duty is hitting a 100. He's 1 for 10. No homers and 1 driven in. Nothing on to have it. Sakata has a very good column 1 against lefties, though. But he found column 2. 2-8 is a ground ball third base A. That's going to go around the horn. 5-4 to 3. Double play to end the inning. So the pitcher's best friend helps out Lee Brandt, and at the end of 2, we still have no score here at the stadium. Game 1 of a doubleheader. I have no idea how long this video will turn out to be. We shall see. Hopefully, it'll be entertaining enough to watch both games. We shall see. It's a novelty. I'm not used to. I don't think I may have done one doubleheader before, but it hasn't been very often. So, figured what the hey on a Thursday night. What the hey. All right, Balboni. Bye-bye, Balboni. Hitting a .167 in 30 at bats. 1 home run. It's been his only run batted in. It's a 5-8 off of Hudson, and that is a strikeout for Charles Hudson. Strikeout number 2 for Mr. Hudson. That'll bring up Jamie Min at Quirk. He'll be doing the catching. He's hitting .273, just 11 at bats. No home runs and 1 run driven in. 2-5, and that's going to be a ground ball to Randolph at second for out number 2. 2 up and 2 down for the number 9 hitter, Angel Salazar, or sometimes he's called Argenis Salazar. I've seen it both ways. Salazar is hitting .286, which I believe is 4 for 14. And a homer and 2 runs driven in. 1-8. 1-8 is a pop out to third. And so Charles Hudson goes through the Royal Order the first time around unscathed. We go to the bottom of the third, no score from the stadium. And with this doubleheader, they could use the starters to give them some length and minimize the bullpen so they have enough bullpen to go around for both games. They don't need one of their starters getting chased early. So here's Lee Brandt. He'll be facing Rick Cerrone. Wayne Tollison and Ricky Henderson. Cerrone is hitting 286, 2 for 7. No homers and 1 run driven in. It's a 4-3 right-handed ground ball pitcher X. And Leibrandt is a 1 E24. So as a 1, we know he's going to get it. We're just worried about the E24. His E24, boy, he's got to avoid 10, 11, 12, 15, 17, and 18. That's a 7. I think he'll be okay with that. E24. Yes, there's no 7 there, so Leibrandt will make the play. One away. Had a little trouble with that ground ball, but Cerrone runs so slow that Leibrandt had enough time to recover and makes the play. Here's Wayne Tollison hitting a paltry 161 in 31 at-bats. A homer and 4 runs driven in. It's a 6'10", switch everybody right-handed. That's a fly ball center field X. Willie Wilson's a 1E1. So you know he's going to get to it with a 1. And the only way he makes an error is on a 17. And there's no error there, so Willie Wilson handles it pretty easily. 2 down in the top of the order for Ricky. Ricky, first time up, grounded out to Frank White. 1-7 left-handed. 1-7 is a double. That's a 15, though, so he's going to fly it to center. Wilson puts it away, and that's going to end the inning. So 3 innings are in the books, and we got goose eggs all the way around. No score. We go to the 4th here at the stadium. Game 1 of a doubleheader between the Royals and the Yankees. Hudson back out. His fatigue is a 5, so do need to keep an eye on that. Willie Wilson is your batter. I might have too much light here. Let me dim one of these lights. I think I had too much light going, so hopefully that's better now. Hopefully that is better to lose that extra light. I don't think I needed all that light there, so I think it might show up better now on video. So apologize if the first 3 innings were a little bit too bright. Hopefully now we're doing okay. All right, here's Willie Wilson. He struck out his first chance. That's a 2-9, and he's going to pop it up to Sakata for out number 1. That'll send up Kevin Seitzer. Seitzer grounded out to short his first chance. That is a 5-8 right-handed. He's going to strike out. Strikeout number 3 for Hudson. And that'll bring up George Brett. Brett flew to Henderson his first time up. 4-5 left-hander is a fly to center. He's going to fly to Henderson again. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for Hudson. We go to the bottom of the 4th, still no score from the stadium. And I'm not going to mention that we are, well, no, I'm not even going to go there. I caught myself. I'm not going to go there. I'm not even going to explain what I'm saying, because if I say it, it'll be a jinx. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and keep going. Here's Willie Randolph. He has the only hit of the game so far. Got a single, but was erased on a double, on a fielder's choice, rather. 1-7, and he's going to draw a base on ball, so Randolph is on for the 2nd time. He needs a 3 to get the lead. Last time he tried to get the lead, he almost got picked off, but he's going to try again. 7, he does not get the lead, so he will just hold it there for Donnie Baseball. And I think I forgot to mention Donnie Baseball's average last inning, or his first at bat. Currently, as of right now, after popping out to second, he is now at 302 in 43 at bats, 2 homers, 8 runs driven in. It's a 2-6 left-handed. 1's a double. Anything else is a single, 2 stars. That's a base hit for Donnie Baseball. And runners are now on the corners. Runners are on the corners. Mattingly will not be held at first. But what do you do with the Royals with nobody out? You need outs. They're going to play back for the double play because they have to have outs. They want to avoid a crooked number up there. They'll give up 1 run, but they don't want to give up 2 or 3. 2-10. But they're going to give up 3 right off the bat. That's a Dave Winfield home run, clean as a baby's butt. 2-10. Look at it again. 2-10 against left-handers. All in bold letters. Home run. Dave Winfield. for Winfield. That is his third home run of the season. RBIs 6, 7, and 8. And the Yankees all of a sudden have gotten a 3-0 lead. So home run number 3 for Winfield, as he just blasted that Lee Brandt offering into the cheap seats. Mattingly and Randolph will trot home in front of him on the home run. It is now 3-0 Yankees here in the bottom of the fourth. Still nobody out. So much for worried about playing the infield in or back. That's irrelevant with the home run. Here's Gary Ward. 5-11 right-handed. That's a ballpark blast. And that's a 2. It is gone. Gary Ward has normal power. Let's look at it again. This is back-to-back jacks. Ballpark home run. In fact, I didn't even need to move that. The ballpark home run is right here. Right-handers is a 1-8. That's a 2. 5-11. Ballpark home run against the righty. Ward against the lefty. Normal power. It's long and it's gone. It's the first home run of the season for Gary Ward. RBI number 7. Back-to-back jacks, and the Yankees take a 4-0 lead. That'll bring up Ron Kittle. That is a 3-9, and that is a ground ball to short. 1 away for the shortstop, Len Sakata. Sakata hit into a double play his first chance. 3-10, he's going to fly it to right field, and Tartable will put that away. That'll send up the number 8 hitter, Rick Cerrone. He's 0 for 1 so far. 1-6. Now he's 0 for 2. Ground ball to short to end the inning. But a Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning for the Yankees in the fourth. And they take what seems to be a commanding 4-0 lead. But there are still 5 innings to go, and anything can happen. So you can't just assume that the game is over, because it's definitely not. Anything can happen, especially when you got dice rolling. So Hudson, this is his fatigue inning. He has a big 5 sitting right here, so we keep an eye on his fatigue numbers to make sure he does not get fatigued. Or if he does, we keep track of it. Here's Frank White. Ground to third his first time up. 6-9, and that's a pop out to Willie Randolph at second base. 1 down. And that'll bring up Tartable. Flew to center his first chance. 5-9. He's going to fly to left this time. So didn't like center. Now he tries left, and it didn't work out either way you go. As Gary Ward puts that away. 2 down. For Bo Nose, he also flew to center his first chance. 3-6 against the right-hander. It's a 1 for a triple. Anything else he flies to center, that's a 10. So he will fly to center again. Ricky puts it away. And that's it for the Royals here in the 5th. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's still 4-0 favor of the Royals, and Hudson has nothing against this point of weakness. He has full endurance. Lee Brandt, his fatigue inning is a 7th, so he's still okay. Be facing number 9 hitter Wayne Tollison. That's a 3-6 for Tollison. Struck him out. Ricky Henderson, 0 for 2. 3-5, and this time he draws a base on balls. He's noted for that. Might be looking to run. To get the lead, needs a 6 or a 7 to get the lead. He does not get the lead, so he will hold. And Willie Randolph, your batter. 3-7, and that's another walk. So back-to-back base on balls. As Lee Brandt's starting to lose the strike zone a little bit. That's his 4th walk of the game. And that'll bring up Don Mattingly, Donnie Baseball, with 1 out and runners at first and second. Henderson will be held at second. Lee Brandt, 2-7 to Mattingly. Ground ball first base A. That will be a 3-6-3 double play to end the inning. That was the pitcher's best friend for sure for Lee Brandt. as it was nicely turned by Seitzer and Salazar to end the inning. So we go to the sixth. It's still 4-0 Yankees. Hudson with full endurance. He will be facing the bottom of the order, Balboni, Quirk, and Salazar. Balboni, Quirk, and Salazar. It's a 2-9 for Balboni. That's a ground ball to third. Sakata all over it. One down. That'll bring up Jamie Minute Quirk. Grounded to second, his first chance up. 4-6 to a left-hander is a walk. Walk to Quirk. He will not be held, obviously. And Angel Salazar is your batter. Nothing on the havoc. Hudson to Salazar. 1-12, and that's a line out to third. Snagged by Sakata for out number 2. And of course, Quirk staying at first base with 2 outs, not being held. And here's Willie Wilson. Nothing on the havoc. Wilson 0-2. 4-9. Switch hitter being left-handed. Ground ball second base C. That's going to end the inning. So Hudson pitches around the walk. And we go to the bottom of the sixth. Still 4-0 Yankees. Lee Brandt's going to come back out. He's fatigued. It's a 7, so he's still good to go. And he will be facing Winfield, Ward, and Kittle. Winfield and Ward are the 2 that hit the home runs off of him. So he's going to see if he can't find a different pitch selection. 3-10 to Winfield is a ballpark single check, which is 1-7. That's a 2. It will be a base hit for Winfield. So base hit for Winfield. That's the 5th hit for the Yankees in the game. Winfield will... They will hold him on, but he's not going to go anywhere. Ward is your batter. 4-8, right-handed. That's a strikeout for Lee Brandt. It's a dot there, but of course he's not tired yet. So 1 away for Ron Kittle. Designated hitter. Nothing on the havoc. 4-4, and that's another ballpark single check. 1-7, that's a 4. It's another single. And that's 2 ballpark single checks in this inning. And ballpark single checks are always 1 base advancements. So runners at first and second for Len Sakata. No one being held on base. 3-9 for Sakata. He's hit by the pitch. So he gets plunked. And now you wonder if the Royal bullpen might start to see some activity. Rick Cerrone is the batter. Lee Brandt can certainly use a double play here to get out of the jam. The infield is back for that double play. But the bullpen does see a little bit of activity as right-hander Rick Anderson is loosening in the Royal bullpen. Infield is back for the double play. Rick Cerrone, Lee Brandt to Cerrone. 6-6, and that is a 1-15 single. That's a 9. It's a base hit, 1 star. It's going to score the run, making it 5-0 Yankees. And lo and behold, that's what the final score was in real world. Not saying it's going to stay that way, but that's what it is right now. And the bases are still loaded, so probably won't stay that way. Here's Tollison. This will be the last batter Lee Brandt's going to face. If he doesn't, and I believe Anderson's going to come in regardless of the situation here, unless he grounds into a double play. That's the only thing that's going to allow Lee Brandt to finish the inning. He would have to get Tollison to hit into a double play. 1-12, and that's a ground ball shortstop B, so that's going to be a fielder's choice. That's going to score a run. They were playing for the double play, but it didn't work out. They couldn't get the turn. They couldn't turn the double play, so the run does score. And you can question the manager on that one, but if If I'd rolled a 1-9 instead with the infield in, that would have been a base hit with 2 stars. So kind of pick your poison there. But that's going to be it for Lee Brandt. His day is done with Ricky Henderson coming to the plate. They want to go to a right-hander, and they will do so. So we have a call to the bullpen. And as Elton John once sang, the Royal manager is telling Charlie Lee Brandt, I don't want to go on with you like that. So Rick Anderson is your new pitcher. He is a +9 on his hold, so he becomes a +5, but I don't think the Yankees are looking to run right at the moment. We'll get the numbers on Anderson as I make the call to the bullpen on the computer. Rick Anderson. So Anderson is on. He is not yet pitched. He pitched 13 innings in real world. This is his first appearance. He does start and does relieve, but this is his first appearance of the season. And it's kind of a tough spot to put him in, to be quite frank with you. Lee Brandt's going to go 5 2/3. He's going to give up 7 hits, 6 runs so far that are earned. But he's responsible for the other 2 on base. He has walked 1, 2, 3, 4. He's walked 4. Let me just pull up the computer just to verify my numbers. Make sure I don't make a mistake here. Yep, he's walked 4, struck out 2. Just can't put the runs allowed because right now it's 6, but it could be more. It could be as many as 8. We shall see. But 2 outs. Runners are at the corners. Nobody's being held. And Ricky Henderson is your batter. Clutch situation. .611, and that's a strikeout. A huge strikeout for Rick Anderson to get out of the mess. And we can close the book now. Lee Brandt with 6 runs. So we finished 6 innings of play here at the stadium, and all of a sudden the Yankees, with an outburst, lead it by the score of 6-0 over the befuddled Royals. And since we're at the end of the 6th inning, I'm going to check and make sure that everything is still good as far as focus and everything like that. It appears to be. So we're going to start the top of the 7th. Of course, I'll be standing for the 7th inning stretch for sure, especially with a doubleheader looming large. I think I'm going to have to move this over just a tad to make sure I don't lose the cards now that we're getting into later innings. So Hudson will be on there to face Seitzer, Brett, and White, and he has full endurance. So endurance is not an issue at the moment. Hudson to Seitzer. 1-6 for Seitzer, and there goes the no-hitter. 1-2 is a triple, 3-20 is a single. That's a 6 on the 1-6, so there goes the no-hitter. Hudson, 6 innings with a no-hitter and couldn't take it past the first batter of the 7th. But the fans at the Bronx give him a standing ovation for a job well done. Seitzer is not going to be held. Down 6-0, they know they're not going to run. So here's George Brett. 3-7 for Brett is a walk. So now you got to worry about Hudson getting fatigued all of a sudden. A couple more base runners and he will reach the point of weakness. Here's Frank White. Nobody being held. 4-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. That's Ricky. He's a 2E10. So as a 2, he has to have a 4 or higher, which he does is an 8, which is an F2, which means the runners cannot advance. E10, he's got to avoid 3, 4, 14, 16, and 18. And he does. So Ricky Henderson makes the catch, and everybody has to hold. As Hudson takes a deep breath after that, gets that first out of the inning. They like to get him through the inning, at least get 7 innings out of him, and then that really saves their bullpen. Here's Tartable. 3-6 for Tartable. Oh, look at that. A solid home run. 3-6 right-handed. It is long and it is gone. And I believe that's going to be the beginning of the end for Charles Hudson. He was doing so well. A no-hitter through 6 innings, but in the 7th inning, third time through the order, the Royals have gotten to him. Tartable, a 3-run shot. All of a sudden, it's a 6-3 game. And the Royals are right back in this thing. Tartable, his second home run of the season. RBIs 5, 6, and 7. And that will do it for Charles Hudson, I do believe. Or do they? Well, yeah, I think they're going to have to. They're going to have to pull him. They're going to go to Cecilio Guante, a right-hander out of the pen. So Charles Hudson, we can close the book on Hudson. He goes 6 1/3. He's going to give up two hits and 3 runs, all of which were earned. And let's get the bullpen in here. Mr. Guante, Cecilio Guante is on. And that way I can get the rest of the numbers on Hudson for his walks and strikeouts. Hudson will walk 2, strike out 3. And of course he's in line to get the win, obviously. So Guante is on. I forgot to write Anderson was 0-0. Guante is on. And on the replay, Guante is 0-0 with an ERA of 6 in 12 innings pitched, 14 hits, 9 walks, 17 strikeouts. So he's not exactly been shutting everybody down, but he's still got a 6-3 lead, so they're hopeful. So Hudson has departed. Guante is on, and he'll be facing Bo Jackson. With 1 out here in the top of the 7th of now a 6-3 game. And let's see what he does with Bo Nose. 5-3 is a fly center field X. And that is going to be Ricky again. He's a 2, but that's a 1. That's going to drop for a double. So a double for Bo Jackson. Checking for an error. He's got to avoid those slew of numbers I've mentioned several times. 12 is not one of them, though. You'll be okay with that. There's no error, but there will be a double for Bo. As Ricky Henderson unable to get to it. And don't sleep on the Royals now. They are coming back with a vengeance. Here's Balboni. Of course, Guante looking at Henderson thinking he should have had that one. 4-5. Guante struck him out. So Guante says, I got to do it myself, apparently. 2 down. And that'll send up Jamie Quirk. Clutch situation for Jamie Quirk. 5-8. And that is a strikeout. So Guante comes in, does the job. And we now head to the 7th inning stretch. Stretch time in the Bronx. With the score, the Yankees 6. And the Royals 3. And it's definitely stretch time. Especially with a doubleheader on tap. Stretching is almost mandatory, I would think. Rick Anderson. When we come back from the stretch, will be Randolph, Mattingly, and Winfield. Heart of the order. But I do want to take a quick stretch break so I can stand up. It's got a little fuzzy for some reason. Let's see if I can fix that. Another reason to take a break and look through this phone and make sure nothing's out of whack. All right, stretch break of about 5 seconds and a little sip of juice. Non-alcoholic beverage. Basically Walmart's version of Crystal Light. All right, now we're ready to go. Rick Anderson only faced 1 batter in the bottom of the sixth and struck out Henderson, so he's definitely good to go as far as fatigue. 4-6 for Rick Anderson is a 1-3 single. That's a 3, so Willie Randolph gets his second hit of the game. He's reached base all 4 times, 2 walks and 2 singles. And he's aboard. And he's looking to run, particularly with the +5 factor. But to get that jump, he needs a 3. That's the big number he has to get is a 3. It's the only way he gets to jump. Only way he gets the lead, and he couldn't get the 3, so he will stand pat. And here's Mattingly rather, with Randolph being held. 5-9, that's a single, 2 stars, so Mattingly now 2 for 4. And the hits are starting to pile up for the Yankees. That is hit number 9 for New York. And now with Winfield up, the infield's going to have to come in. They can't afford to play for a double play now. They're down by 3 runs, so they're going to have to come in and take their chances. 4-7. And that's a bad chance. That's a double to right field for Winfield. Mattingly doesn't run all that well, so he will hold at third base, but scoring is Randolph on the RBI by Winfield. RBI double. It's now 7-3 Yankees. And now Anderson might be looking for some relief help as well. And let's see who they might want to go to. Looks like, boy, tough call. Looks like they're going to go to Dan Quisenberry. So Dan Quisenberry, he did not pitch in the previous game, so he's fresh. So Dan Quisenberry is on. They have Steve Farr and Dave Gumpert. They pitched in the previous game, and Bud Black, a lefty, but Bud Black's the long reliever, and they want to keep him fresh in case they need long relief in game 2. So they don't want to use him up. Plus the Yankees have all the righties in the lineup already. So they want to go to a right-hander, and that's what they're doing. So Quisenberry will be coming on for the Royals. And for Quisenberry, this is his, he's 2-1, no saves, and a 3.18 earned run average. 6 innings pitched, 9 hits, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And right now he's got runners at second and third, nobody out, infield in, and Gary Ward the batter. Yankees looking to blow it open. It's a 4-10 right-handed. That's a fly to center field B. That will be a sacrifice fly for Gary Ward as Mattingly will come on to score. And the score is now 8-3. Finally 1 out in the inning. Winfield is held at second base, and here's Ron Kittle. 6-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X, but the second baseman's holding the runner, not to the shortstop. So Salazar will keep his 2E16 amount. 2 and a 4, that could be problematic. 2 and a 4 is a G3. There's a pound there, but he's not holding the runner, so that means the runner's going to advance. So we know Winfield's going to make it to third base. The question is, will Kittle be out? The error is an E16 chance, and we're looking at 14 and 17. So no error, but it'll be a 6-3 ground out with the runner Winfield advancing to third with 2 outs now. 2 outs for Len Sakata. And with a big lead, they would normally pinch hit Pagliarulo here, but with a big lead, they'll go ahead and let Sakata hit. Quisenberry 6-6, and he lines him out to first base with Seitzer snagging it. That's going to end the inning, but 2 more runs come in to make it 8-3. And we can close the book on Anderson now. Get his numbers on the ball game. Referencing the computer. So we go to the box score. Anderson's going to go a third of an inning. And he's going to give up 3 hits 2 runs. They were earned. No walks and a strikeout. Quisenberry will probably go ahead and pitch the 8th as well. And that way he won't be available in game 2, but at least he'll save the rest of the bullpen. Guante will be coming out for his next inning of work. He's only faced 3 batters. Struck out 2 of them. Did give the double to Jackson on a failed range play by Henderson. So it'll be Salazar, Wilson, and Seitzer. Salazar is a 205 hitter, so I believe that the Royals will go to the bench, and they will call on left-handed hit. Actually, no, they're going to call on Hal McRae. So Hal McRae will come in and hit, and Buddy Biancalana will take over at short for Salazar. So McRae to pinch hit here in the 8th with Biancalana. Shortstop in the 8th. And Biancalana is a 3.88, so obviously not very good. But they're going for the offense here with Hal McRae. In an 8-3 game, desperate times call for desperate measures. So go to the computer and put in Hal McRae hitting for Salazar. And on the replay, in 4 at-bats, McRae is 1 for 4, hitting .250. No homers or runs driven in. 4-8, and he will strike out. So McRae strikes out in the pinch. And we flip the order over to Willie Wilson. Wilson is your batter. That's a 3-9 for Wilson. That's a single. So Willie Wilson will draw the single. But down 8-3, he's not going anywhere. They will hold him on, but because they don't want to just give him the base, but he's not going to try anything. Here's Kevin Seitzer. Seitzer. 3-5. And that's going to be a walk. So now Guante. They kind of wanted Guante to finish the game, save the rest of the bullpen, but they may have to use another bullpen arm. It's very possible. Here's George Brett. First and second, 1 out. Brett the batter. 2-7, and that's a 1-4 single, but that's a 10. He's going to line it to second. Out number 2. All runners hold, and that'll bring up Frank White. Frank White, 0 for 3 in the game. Guante, 4-5. That's a strikeout, and that's going to end the inning. So Guante makes it through. And we go to the bottom of the 8th. Score still 8-3, and now Buddy Biancalana comes into the game for the Royals to play shortstop. And Quisenberry is going to see if he can't finish out the game and mop up. Save his team from having to use another bullpen arm. So Quisenberry will be facing Cerrone, Tollison, and Henderson. That is the lineup for the Yankees here in the 8th of an 8-3 game. Cerrone 1 for 3. 5-4, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-7, that's an 11 though. So that will be a pop-up to third. Out number 1. So Cerrone is out, and here's Wayne Tollison. 6-4, switch hitting batting left. That's a ground ball third base X. That is Brett. He's a 4.37. 4-14 is going to be okay. That's a G2. E37 might be the problem. He's got to avoid 9, 11, 12, and then 15 through 17. And he does, so good play for Brett. 2 up and 2 down. course, later in the season, they will move Brett to first and put Seitzer at third. But early in the season, they have Seitzer at first and Brett at third. So here's Ricky. 6-11, and that's a ground ball first base X. And that is Seitzer. He's a 3E16. 3 and a 15, he'll get to it. E16. He's got to avoid 3, 11, 12, 16, and 17, which he does. And since it's an X chance, we'll do it. Call it a 3-1 put out. And that's going to do it here in the 8th inning for the Yankees. So Quisenberry does his job. And we'll get the numbers on Quisenberry just to wrap up his totals. But he saved the Royals from having to go to more of their bullpen. He goes 2 innings and doesn't give up anything. So he certainly did the job. So we go to the top of the 9th, last chance for the Royals. Guante back out, and Guante will be facing he'll be facing Tartable, Jackson, and Balboni. Those are the scheduled hitters. So Tartable gets Guante 2-7. That's a 1-5 double. That's a 15, so it'll only be a single for Tartable. And since I have the game on the computer, it will tell me when Guante is fatigued. I won't have to worry about it. I won't have to sweat it because the computer will tell me. All right, here is Bo Jackson. Tartable will not be held in an 8-3 game. They're not going to hold him. 3-9 and 3-9 for Bo. 1-13 is a double. That's a 20 though, so it's going to be a fly out to right field. And there's one away. Bo is out of there. Here's Balboni. And they're going to call Balboni back and bring in a pinch hitter. It's going to be Thad Bosley, left-handed hitter. So Thad Bosley will come on and pinch hit. Thad Bosley. Pinch hitting here in the 9th inning. As Balboni went 0 for 3 with 2 Ks. So Kansas City looking for a little bit more offense than that. We'll bring in Bosley. Bosley on the replay is hitting 200. He's 1 for 5 in limited duty. No homers or runs driven in. One chance of a wild pitch for Guante. And Guante's wild pitch rating is a 14. So 1-14, he's going to uncork one. He does, so it's a wild pitch. Takes the double play and the force play out of the equation. And we'll try again. So Guante to Bosley. 3-4 for Bosley is a pop out to short. That is out number 2. Royals down to their final out, trailing 8-3. It'll be Jamie Quirk, last chance for the Royals. Jamie Quirk. .411 against Guante is a fly ball right field X. That's Winfield. He's a 1E3, so we know he's going to get to it. It's just a matter of whether he makes an error. He's an E3, and the only way he can make an error is on a 3, 15, or 18. And he does not make the error. He makes the catch, and that's your ball game. So the Yankees take game 1 by the final score of 8-3. And we'll get the totals very quickly from the computer. Guante actually earns the save 2 2/3 because when he came in, it was a 6-3 save situation. So he goes 2 2/3, gives up 3 hits, no runs, a walk and 4 strikeouts. So he gets his first save. And Hudson improves to 1-0. Losing pitcher Lee Brand, he drops to 0-1. So we'll look at the totals all the way around. For the Royals, 3 runs, 5 hits, no errors, For the Yankees, 8 runs, 10 hits, and no errors. Both teams left 5 runners on base. Player of the game, we got to give it, well, I almost want to give it to Hudson for 6 innings of no-hit ball, but it's kind of hard to ignore Winfield. 3 for 4, only a triple away from the cycle. So his 3-run homer really broke the ice and got the Yankees where they needed to be. So I'm giving Dave Winfield the player of the game. Some may argue I should give it to Hudson, but I'm going to give it to Dave Winfield. And there you go. Game 1 is in the books. Yankees now 7-4. Royals dropped to 3-7. And I'm going to pause the video and take a quick break and come back for game number 2. And again, that will be Tommy John, the lefty for the Yankees, against right-hander Mark Gubicza, a.k.a. Mark Gubicza, for Kansas City. So we'll be right back for game number 2. Okay, welcome back for game number 2. After a slight break on my part, no break on your part. We are all set to go. Tommy John will be on the mound for the Yankees, and Mark Gubicza will be on the mound for the Royals. Tommy John's 0-1. Mark Gubicza is 0-1. Tommy John is 0-1 with a 3.38 earned run average. This is his second start. First start went 5 innings, gave up 7 hits, 4 walks and no strikeouts. Did give up 1 home run. So now the Royals enter the game 3-7. The Yankees are now 7-4. Game number 2, the Yankees won that in real world 1-0. So they swept the Royals in real world in this real doubleheader, but they're trying to do it here in Strat-O-Matic as well. Wild pitch rating on Tommy John is a 10. Balks is 0. Gubicza is a 12 wild pitch and a balk of 2. And again, ballpark singles and home runs did not change. So I think that's the only preliminaries needed. We can go ahead and get going with game number 2. Lineup's a little bit different. George Brett getting the game 2 off with a lefty on the mound. Juan Beniquez is now at third. And the new catcher is Larry Owen. Everything else for the Royals is the same. Yankees are giving Ricky Henderson the game 2 off, and Claudell Washington will play center field. Dan Pasqua's in left field with Gary Ward moving to the DH, so they're going to give Kittle the game off in game 2 and insert Pasqua in left. Pagliarulo's back at his normal third base spot. Joel Skinner is going to catch game 2, and Paul Zuvella, the shortstop, utility guy, will play short here in game 2. All right, so we're ready to go. Willie Wilson now hitting .227 in 44 at-bats, a homer and 2 runs driven in. And game 2 is underway, 2-8. Willie Wilson, switch hitter against the lefty Tommy John, 2-8 to single. So a base hit for Willie Wilson. He's definitely going to be looking to get the lead. It's a 0 factor for both pitchers on hold ratings. So whatever the number is, that's what it is. Willie Wilson's a 19, so if he gets the lead, it'll be a 1-17. He needs a 3 through 6 to get said lead, and he does. So it's a 1-17 because of the -2 for being held. 1-17. That's a 3, so it's a possible throwing error on Joel Skinner. His T rating is 8, and it's a throwing error, so it's going to be a stolen base plus the throwing error. Maybe should have just ate that ball and not try to throw it, but it's going to be a stolen base plus an error on the throw. And that's going to put Wilson at third with nobody out. Infield's going to play back with nobody out. Give it the run, try to limit the Royals to 1 run. Sights are hitting, now hitting 184 in 38 at-bats. 111. That's a fly ball to right field B ? So that's a possible sacrifice fly, but Winfield's a -4, although Wilson does run at a 17. So on that B ? You take the run rating, add 2 to it, and then subtract the arm rating. So it's a 17 plus 2 is a 19, -4 is a 15. So 1-15 he's going to score. 16-20 he'll be out. He's going to score. Sacrifice fly for Kevin Seitzer. Winfield with a good arm, but Wilson just too fast, and they're not able to get him. So the error definitely comes into play for an unearned run. At least at this point, it's unearned. Seitzer is out, but he gets a productive out with a run batted in. Brings up Juan Beniquez. He's hitting .500. He's 4 for 8 in limited duty. Does have a double, a triple, and 5 runs driven in, so he has definitely been productive. 4-8 against Tommy John is a fly to left field for out number 2. 2 down, and that will send up Frank White. White enters the game. Game number 2, hitting .184. 1 homer and 4 runs driven in. It's a .111, and that's a pop out to Pagliarulo at third. So the unearned run is definitely now officially unearned. That error by the catcher Skinner cost him a run, chucking the ball into center field. So 1-0 Royals as the Yankees are coming to bat. And ID Jester's favorite pitcher, Mark Gubaza, will be on the mound. Mark Gubaza. And he'll be facing Claudel Washington, giving Ricky Henderson the game off. Claudel Washington's hitting .300, 3 for 10, limited duty. No runs, 2 driven in. No home runs, 2 driven in. 4-2, it's a ground ball shortstop X. That is Salazar. He's a 2E16. As a 2, just has to have a 3 or higher, which he barely does. And an E16, he's got to avoid 14 and 17, which he does. So it's a good play for Salazar. 1 away. And that will send up Willie Randolph. Randolph hitting now .282. No homers, 2 runs driven in. 2-8 for Randolph. 1-19 is going to be a single. So Randolph continues his hot hitting. He had several hits in the first game. He does it again. He can get the lead on a 3. Almost got picked off in game 1 trying to get the lead, but he's going to try anyway. And he cannot get the lead. So he'll be at first base being held on for Don Mattingly. Donnie Baseball hitting .326. 2 homers and 8 runs driven in. 6-5, left-handed fly ball to left. And Bo Knows is there again. For 2 away, and that's going to send it up to Winfield. He had the big day in game 1. 3 hits, just a triple short of the cycle. He has raised his average to .304. 3 homers, 9 runs driven in. Randolph is first being held. 2-8, and that's a single to center field. And now you wonder if Randolph will try to take third. It's kind of the cardinal sin to make the third out at third, but Wilson does have a +2 arm. There are 2 outs. That's a +4 right there. Randolph being held as a -1. That's a +3. He runs at a 14. It becomes a 1-17. And if they try to throw to third, then Winfield can take second on the throw. So I think on a 1-17, they will concede third base to Randolph and keep Mr. Winfield at first base. So 2 outs, runners at the corners for Dan Pasqua, left fielder. He's hitting only a .188 and 16 at bats, 2 homers and 2 runs driven in. Winfield is being held, but he's not going to try to go anywhere. Gubaza to Pasqua, 2-7, and that's a strikeout, and that's going to end the inning. So Gubaza gets the clutch strikeout of Dan Pasqua. He leaves 2 runners on base, and at the end of 1, it is 1-0 Royals as they look to avoid the sweep of the doubleheader. Tommy John back out. He's got fatigue of 6. Gubaza has fatigue of 7. It'll be Tartable, Jackson, and Balboni due up. Tartable hitting .225, 2 homers, 7 driven in. 3-2 for Tartable is a ground ball to short. And Zuvella makes the play, 1 away. We'll send up Bo Knows. 6-6, and that's going to be a ground ball shortstop X. That's Zuvella. He's a 4E48, not very good. For 4-4, he needs to get a 7 or higher to get to this. And he does, but the E48 could be problematic. On an E48, we're looking at 3, 6, 12, 15, 16, and 18. That's a 13, so I think he avoided it. We double check it. E48. There is no 13. There's a 12, 15, 16, and 18, but no 13. So Zuvella makes a tough play. Gets it done. And there's 2 away. For Bye-Bye Balboni, who's hitting a .152 with 1 home run, 1 run driven in. 2-8, and that's another ground ball to short, so Zuvella takes care of all 3 of them. And we go to the bottom of the second. Score still 1-0. Of course, the Royals, that run was unearned, but they'll take it. But they've already scored more runs in the game in 2 innings in Strat than they did in the real game, where they got shut out. So they'll take it. So Gubicza will be facing Ward, Pagliarulo, and Joel Skinner. Gary Ward hitting .238, 1 homer, 8 runs driven in. 1-8, and that's a strikeout. So Ward is out of there. Here's Pagliarulo. 5-10, and that's going to be against a lefty. That is a 1-4 home run, but 5-20 is a double, so it will be a double for Pags. He doubles. And Pags, forgot to mention on the replays, hitting a .194 homer and 3 runs driven in. But he is now at second base. He will not be held. For Joel Skinner, and Skinner is hitting .194, no homers and 3 runs driven in. 1-9, and that's a strikeout. 3rd strikeout for Gubicza. And it's going to send us to Paul Zuvella, limited duty. In fact, this is Paul Zuvella's first at bat of the season. He's come in for pinch running purposes, but this is his first at bat. 5-8, and of course off the pitcher card he gets a hit. 1-9 is a double. That's 12. It's a 2-star single though, so that will be an RBI single for Paul Zuvella off of Gubicza's card. And there you go. 50-50 strikes again. And we're tied at a run apiece. Zuvella will not be held, naturally. And here is Claudel. Gubicza to Claudel. 3-8, and that's going to be a single, 2 stars. That will move Zuvella to 3rd. Yankees have something cooking here in the bottom of the second, looking to try to take the lead in this one. Willie Randolph is your batter. Claudel Washington will be held, but will not try to steal. They're going to see if the hot hitter Randolph can drive home a run. 5-9, and he will. 1-5 is a triple. That's a 15. It's a single, 2 stars. Again, runners stay at the corners, but the Yankees now take a 2-1 lead on the RBI single from Willie Randolph. And doesn't get any easier for Gubicza as Mattingly is at the plate. All this with 2 outs. 3-3 for Mattingly is a line out to first. Snagged by Seitzer to end the inning. But the Yankees put 2 on the board, take a 2-1 lead after 2 complete here at the stadium as the Yankees look to sweep the doubleheader. Tommy John given a reprieve now. He's been given the lead. See what he can do with it. He's going to be facing Salazar, Owen, and Wilson. Salazar, Owen, and Wilson. It's a 4-2 against a righty. Is a fly ball right field X. That's Winfield. He's a 1. You know he's going to get it. Just worrying about the E3. And the only way he makes an error on an E3 is a 3, 15, or 18. And it's a good play for Winfield. So Salazar is retired. And that brings up Larry Owen, limited duty. He's 1 for 6 on the season, which is a 167 average. No homers or runs driven in. That's a 410. Catcher X this time. That's Joel Skinner. He's a 2. E4. 2 and a 7. 2 and a 7 is a P/P, but nobody on base, so it'll just be a pop out as long as there's no error. He is an E4, which means he has to avoid 16, 17, and 18. And he does not. That's a 16. So that will be an E1. So it's a P/P with an E1, which means the batter, well, this says a batter hits a squib out in front of the plate that the catcher can't handle. 1 base error, which is kind of weird because I thought it was a pop out. That would be an error on a pop out, but they're saying it's going to be a E2, which is going to allow the runner to get to first base. Kind of a logic error there in my opinion. If it's an error on a pop out, if the original result would be a pop out, then the error should be on a pop out and the runner should be back at the plate with a strike 1 count, but that's just me. All right, here is Willie Wilson against Tommy John. 2-8, and that's a single to left field. Larry Owen doesn't run well, so he will have to hold at second base. But 2 are on with 1 out for Kevin Seitzer. Seitzer a sacrifice fly, his first chance. John trying to hold on to the lead. 1-6 for Seitzer. He won't do it. 1 to 11 is a triple. That's a 2. It's going to be a triple for Kevin Seitzer. A 2-run triple. And so that E2 has kind of opened the floodgates now. And the Royals now take a 3-2 lead on the triple by Seitzer. He has all 3 runs batted in. Infield's going to be in with 1 out. Trying to choke the run off. Here's Benitez. 5-6, right-handed. Fly ball center field B. It's going to be a sacrifice fly again. So that will score the run. That's also unearned. So 3 runs are in. 2 of them are unearned. But the Royals will take it, as Benitez gets credit for the sac fly. Here's Frank White with 2 outs and the base is empty. 5-8, and that's a fly to right to end the inning. But 3 runs come in for the Royals, and they take a 4-2 lead in this seesaw affair here in Game 2. Now Mark Gubicza all of a sudden back in control, and Tommy John might need some relief if he can't get any better than what he's doing now. Gubicza will be facing Winfield rather, not Ward. Winfield, Pasqua, and Ward. 6-5 is a strikeout. So maybe the run support has given Gubicza a little bit of a boost as he strikes out Winfield. Here's Pasqua. 1-9, and he will draw the base on balls. First walk issued by Gubicza. Pasqua will not be held. And here's Gary Ward. Nothing on the havoc. Ward. 3-8 is a ground ball shortstop A. That's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. Just what the doctor ordered to get him out of the inning. So at the end of 3 innings of play, it is the Royals 4 and the Yankees 2. Here in Game 2 with a double dip. Yankees won the first game 8-3. Royals trying to at least gain a split. Tommy John will be facing Tartable, Jackson, and Balboni to start the top of the 4th. Do a quick check of focus, make sure nothing got out of line. Looks like we're okay. And that'll bring up Tartable. 3-2 for Tartable is a ground ball to short, 1 away. I need to pause the video just for a quick second. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. And it's Bo Knows. 5-11. Ground ball first base X. That's Mattingly. He's a 1. You know he's going to get to it. We're checking the E6. And on E6, he has to avoid 3, 13, and 18. Whoop, the blue die did not go through. Let's try that again. 3, 13, and 18. And he avoids it. It's going to be a 3-1 put out since it's an X chance. So he will get the assist as he flips to Tommy John for 2 down. And here's bye-bye Balboni. 110, and that's a ballpark blast. It's 1-8. That's an 18, though, so it's just a deep fly to left. And the inning will be over. 3 up and 3 down. This time go the Royals. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Still 4-2 Kansas City. Kansas City in much need of a much-needed victory. They're 3-7. Lost about 3 in a row, I believe. So they definitely, particularly with Oakland being such a good start, you don't want to keep falling too much farther behind, even though it is early. Still don't want to do it. Here's Pags. 310 for Pags is a ballpark blast, and that's an 18, though. It only goes to 9, so it will be a fly to right. As the stadium will hold it this time, 1 away. For Joel Skinner, struck out his first chance against Gubaza. 1-8, and that's another strikeout. So 2 down. For Zuvella, who singled and scored his first time up. He's batting 1,000. He's 1 for 1 on the season. 4-5, but that comes to an end on a fly to right. 3 up and 3 down. Now he's batting 500. But that's going to do it for the Yankees. After 4 complete, it's still 4-2. Favor of Kansas City. Both teams did a pretty good job of not burning their bullpen in game 1, so they've got some arms that they can turn to if they need to. Tommy John will be facing Salazar, Owen, and Wilson. 4-9, right-handed is a single. So a leadoff single for Salazar. And he will be held. He won't try to go anywhere, but he will be held. Owen is an A bunter, so they're going to have him bunt. Check Havoc first, nothing happening. He's an A bunter, becomes a B bunter with the corners in. And a 5 means that the bunt goes to the first baseman, Mattingly. Now we'll check to see on a B bunter how he does. That's an 11. That's a 1 and 2, so it's 1 ball and 2 strike count. So the question is, do they want to keep with the bunt or do they want to pull the bunt back? All right, so they're going to stick with the bunt. Again, it's going to first base, assuming he gets it down. It's a 6. That's defense. So it could be, they could try for the lead runner, but Salazar, But Mattingly is such a good fielder, they might just do it. Let's look at the calculation on that. When you try for the lead runner, it says compute the lead runner's safe range as running speed -4 plus the fielder's defensive rating. Running speed of Salazar is a 13, -4 is a 9, +1 for Mattingly is a 10. So 1 to 10 he'd be safe, 11 to 20 he'd be out. But boy, do you hate to put runners at first and second in case you get a high number on the D20. So Mattingly, after much consideration, will go ahead and throw it to Randolph covering first. And the sacrifice will be successful by Larry Owen. Mattingly certainly thought about it, but then he thought better of it. And now here is Willie Wilson with Salazar at second, not being held. 5-10, switch hitter batting right-handed, is a fly ball center field X. That is Claudel Washington. He is a 3. 3 and 11, he will get to that. 3 and an 11 is an F2, so the runner's going to have to hold. His error rating is a 5, so he's got to avoid 4, 16, 17, and 18, which he does. So the fly ball to center field, not deep enough to move the runner. Salazar stays at second now with 2 outs for Kevin Seitzer, who had that big triple his last time up. He's driven in 3 runs. 2-8 against the lefty. This time he's going to ground it to Zuvella at short to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. Score remains 4-2. And the Yankees trying to get some runs here off of Gubiza. They got him for 2 runs in the second, and that's been it. Top of the order, Claudell Washington. Oops, Suadice. Let's re-roll that. 1-6 for Claudell. It's a fly to center. 1 away. Willie Wilson is there. Flips it to Willie Randolph. He's 2 for 2. He's been hot hitting, but they've all been singles, but he's been getting the hits. 6-6 this time, though. He strikes out. Gubiza gets some revenge there with a strikeout, and now Mattingly comes up with 2 outs and the bases clear, and he's 0 for 2. 2-9. He's 0 for 3 on a pop out to short. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Gubiza. We go to the 6th, and it is still 4-2 favor of the Royals. This will be the fatigue inning for Tommy John, so we'll keep an eye on him. 6 is his fatigue number, and he'll be facing Beniquez, White, and Tartable. Due up for the Royals. 1-11, and that's a ground ball to second. Willie Randolph handles it. 1 away for Frank White. White 0 for 2. 4-7, and that's a single. He's 0 for 2 no longer. He's now 1 for 3 with that single. And let's see, he will not be held. That brings up Tartable. He's grounded to short twice. 1-2 as a Lomax plus an injury check. So he's going to line out to third, and since it's a max, then that means White's going to be doubled off first base on a 5-3 double play on the lineout, 5-3 double play. And now we're going to check for an injury because Tartable may have to leave the game. So we roll for injury. A 1-4, he can stay in the game. Anything else, he's got to come out. He has to come out, so the Royals will have to bring in a new right fielder for the injured Tartable. And that new right fielder will be Thad Bosley. I know it's a lefty on the mound, but they don't have any other lefty outfielders. So they're going to have to, or any other outfielders, period, really. So Thad Bosley will take over. So, Tartable injured. And Bosley, right field in the 6th. So Tartable will get the rest of the game off. He'll be okay for the next game. Tommy John has 1 mark against his point of weakness, but he can still pitch. He hasn't reached fatigue yet. And Dave Winfield, your batter, against Gubiza. .510, and that is a ballpark single check. 1-7, that's a 5, so Winfield. Now 2 for 3. As he gets a base hit, he will not be held. And here comes Pasqua. That's a 2, chance of a balk or a pass ball. Chance of a balk. Gubiza's balk rating is a 2. There is no balk. So here's Pasqua. 1-7, struck him out. 1 away for Gary Ward, designated hitter. Nothing on the Havoc. 2-7, and that's a strikeout. Another strikeout for Gubiza. He's racking up the strikeouts. That is now strikeout number 8 for Mark Gubiza. Here's Pagliarulo. Winfield still stuck at first. 4-6, and that's another strikeout. 9 strikeouts for Gubiza. In 6 innings of work, he has struck out 9. Score remains 4-2. The middle 3 innings have been goose eggs for both sides. We go to the top of the 7th. Of course, Gubiza will, he only has 1, he will, actually his fatigue starts next inning. Tommy John has 1 ding against his fatigue. He'll be facing Bo Jackson, Balboni, and Salazar. Somehow this thing got out of focus, and I don't know how. Don't know how long it's been out of focus. Don't know why it got out of focus, but it did. Good thing I checked. Don't know how long it's been out of focus. I apologize for that. 4-6, right-handed, is a 1-7 single, but that's a 14. He will line it short. So 1 away. That will bring up Balboni. 1-8, and that's a strikeout. So Tommy John looking to at least go 7. And here is Angel Salazar. Whoops, Suadice. Let's re-roll that. 6-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. Willie Randolph. He is a 2. And that's a 7. He'll get to it. E17. And on E17, he has to avoid 3, 6, 15, and 18, which he does. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Tommy John. Actually, he can still pitch if they need him to. 7th inning stretch time here in Game 2. Still 4-2 Royals. I'm going to take another stretch break, obviously. Now that we're in the 7th, we are allowed now, or by my rule, to pinch hit. And that's what the Yankees will be doing. As Joel Skinner will be pinch hit for, and so will Zuvella. So we're going to end up having, let's see who they want to use. Well, Tollison's going to pinch hit for Zuvella. And it looks like Cerrone is going to pinch hit for Skinner. So here in the bottom of the 7th, we're going to have 2 pinch hitters in a row. So Cerrone pinch hitting in the 7th. And Tollison pinch hitting in the 7th. Shortstop 8, catcher 8. All right, so that's what we're going to have. Cerrone, Tollison, and Claudell Washington. Quick stretch break on my behalf, just to make sure. Well, first of all, I need to put these in the computer, so we're going to have Cerrone come in and pinch hit first on the computer. And Cerrone on the replay is hitting 273, no homers, 2 runs driven in. Take a quick stretch break. Make sure everything is still in line. Not out of range, hopefully. Looks like we're still good. Best I can tell. Another sip of the cheapo juice. And we're ready for the bottom of the 7th. Whoop. Suadice. White die didn't go through. 4-7. Gubicza will walk him. And this is the point of weakness inning for Gubicza. That's his first ding on his point of weakness. And now for Zuvella, they will bring in Tollison to pinch hit. Stay in the game to play shortstop. And on the replay, Tollison's hitting a .143. 1 home run and 5 runs driven in. Tollison with Cerrone at first, not being held. 6-8, switch hitter batting left, 6-8. 1-10's a single. That's a 14, though, so he will line it to second for 1 away. So 1 down, top of the order for Claudell. Nothing on the Havoc. Claudell. It's a 3-6 for Claudell. And that's going to be a fly to right field for out number 2. Would have been a good clutch hit with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, but that was not the case. And here's Willie Randolph. Cerrone still lonely at first base. 6-4. It's a catcher X. That is Owen. He's a 3. 3 and an 11 for a catcher. 3 and an 11 for a catcher is a P/F, so it's a possible pass ball maybe. Check his error rating. He is an E5, and that is a 13. There is no 13. It is a P/F though. P/F says it's a pass ball, but when using the balk wild pitch pass ball rules, refer to the super advanced rules found in the instruction for procedure to determine if a pass ball occurs. You basically do that by the wild pitch of the pitcher. Well, Gubas is a 12. If you roll a 1 to 12, it's going to end up being a pass ball. It is not, so it's not going to be a pass ball. It's going to end up being a pop out, foul out, whatever you want to call it. Call it a pop out to end the inning. So 7 innings are in the books. It's still 4-2. Now Tommy John may stay in there. Bullpen activity for the Yankees. They are working in the bullpen. We have to put in the defensive players in the computer so that they're straight. Put Cerrone in as the catcher and Tollison in as the shortstop. Pat Clements, Dave Righetti, they're both certainly fresh to come in if need be. Although Righetti does not usually come in when they're behind. Here's Larry Owen. 4-3, and that's a walk. Start the 8th inning. That'll flip the order over to Willie Wilson. Owen, of course, will not be held. Wilson is 2 for 3 off of Tommy John. 5-8, and that's going to be a fly to right field. Out number 1. That'll send us to Seitzer. And what do you do here? Stoddard pitched 3 innings yesterday, so he's not really available. Guante just went 2 2/3, so he's not really available. The only other right-hander they have in the pen well, I really don't have anybody right. Everybody's left-handed that's in the pen. So it looks like Pat Clements could come on, but they're going to stick with, actually, you know what? They're going to stick with Tommy John. He hasn't reached fatigue yet. 2-2, and that's a hit by pitch. So he gets plunked. And that'll put 2 on with 1 out for Juan Beniquez. Yankees really wish they had a right-handed reliever available. 2-10, and that is a ballpark blast. That's a 4. That is gone. Juan Beniquez, a 3-run home run. And boy, you wonder what would have happened if that had been a righty in the game. 2-10 would have been a single chance. So they were just doomed because they didn't have a right-hander out of the bullpen. Well, they can't worry about now. They're going to have to take out Tommy John. Damage has been done, and they're turning to left-handed reliever Pat Clements coming in for Tommy John. John went as long as he could, and of course they obviously went 1 too long with him. And we can close the book on Tommy John. He's going to go 7 1/3 innings. And for Beniquez, that's his first home run. He had limited duty, only had 10 at-bats. But now he's a home run and RBI 7, 8, and 9. Make it now a 7-2 game. Close the book on Tommy John. Get his final numbers. Tommy John's going to most likely drop to 0-2. He's 7 1/3, 6 hits, 7 runs. Only 4 of them were earned. His defense kind of let him down. 1 walk and 1 strikeout. It's now a 7-2 game, and Frank White is your batter against Pat Clements. Clements is 0-1 on the replay with a 4.26 earned run average. 1 out, bases empty for Frank White. 3-9. He's going to pop it to third. 2 down. So it appears that the Royals will get the split that they desired, as Tommy John just couldn't hang on any longer. Thad Bosley is your hitter because he came in for the injured Tartable. So it's a lefty-on-lefty matchup with Pat Clements. 2-11, and that's going to be a ground ball to second to end the inning. But a 3-spot for the Royals. The big blow, the 3-run homer from Juan Beniquez. And Kansas City has exploded for a 7-2 lead here in Game 2, which has given Mark Gubicza all the more confidence to keep going. He'll be facing Mattingly, Winfield, and Pasqua. And if they need him, Steve Farr will be loosening in the bullpen for the Royals. But right now they're going to stick with Gubicza. 110 for Mattingly is a single to left field, so he gets his first hit of the game. Obviously not going to be held. Here's Winfield. Gubicza to Winfield. 6-6, and that's a strikeout. Another strikeout for Gubicza. I believe that's number 10 now. So double digits for Gubicza. Here's Pasqua. Pasqua 0 for 2 with a walk. 4-6. He's going to strike out again. He's not tired. He hasn't reached the full fatigue yet. And that's strikeout number 11 for Gubicza. And here's Gary Ward. 6-8. And that is a 1-12 single. That is a 2. It will be a single 1 star. And Gubicza now approaching fatigue, but not quite there yet. One more batter and he'll be fatigued. 2 is a chance for a balk or a pass. I'm sorry, a wild pitch, a pass ball or a balk rather. 6 is a chance of a pass ball. Pass ball rating of Owen is a 4. Would be no pass ball. Here's Pagliarulo. 3-5, and that's a 1-7 home run. 8-20 is a double. That's a 9. That little line under there is a 9. It will be a double. It's assumed to go to center field. We know 1 run's going to score. We don't know about the second. That's Gary Ward. He was not being held. He runs at a 14, not being held at a 15. 2 outs is a 16. Willie Wilson's a +2 arm. It's an 18. So he will score. They will hold the throw and keep Pagliarulo at second. 2-run double for Mike Pagliarulo. And the lead is now 7-4. And now Steve Farr may be coming into this ball game. I think that's going to be it for Gubicza. He has now reached fatigue. He has officially reached his fatigue limit, and they are going to the bullpen for Steve Bridge too far to try to save it for Kansas City. Farr is 0-0 with no saves and a 5.40 earned run average, so he is not off to the best start in the world, but in real world in 1987, he was their closer. So Farr will be coming on as Gubicza gave him all he had, but he has to leave the ball game. And we will get the numbers on Gubicza. Now we can close the book on him. We can't quite close the book on him. I'll take it back. Gubicza is going to go 7 2/3. He will give up 10 hits. So far, 4 runs. Walked 2, struck out 11. So he threw a lot of pitches. Can't pinch hit for Cerrone because there's no other catcher left, so they're stuck with Cerrone at the plate to face Steve Farr. Bridge too far. So Farr is on. Runner at second, not being held with 2 outs. Pause 1 second. 3-10 against the right-hander is a strikeout plus injury for Cerrone. So he could be they could have to have a backup catcher that doesn't normally catch as the inning is over with 2 runs scored on the strikeout from Bridge too far to end the inning. At the end of 8, it is 7-4 Yankees trail We'll check the injury on Cerrone. It's a 7. He's got to come out. So Cerrone, they'll have to bring in, looks like they're going to have to bring in a backup emergency catcher, and that would be Len Sakata. And we'll give him the worst catcher rating possible. But he has to leave the game. And we have a visitor. We have a returning visitor to the field. We'll call it Studio C for Cat, as Tabby has joined us. I didn't think she wanted to come back up here, but she came up on her own accord and opened the door and popped in. So here she is. So we've got a feline delay for a couple of quick seconds while I get Len Sakata over here to catch and figure out what the Yankees are going to do going forward. As they are just in a world of hurt, basically. All right. So Tabby made her appearance. I think she's ready to leave now. So definitely a surprise visit. I wasn't expecting that. But there you go. People that wonder about Tabby, there she was. So, all right, top of the 9th we go. And, of course, the new catcher will be, unfortunately for the Yankees, Len Sakata. It'll be Bo Jackson, Balboni, and Salazar against Pat Clements. 1-7 against the lefty is a strikeout. So let me put Sakata in at catching on the computer so he can get credit for this putout. So how about that? Here's Balboni. 4-7 against the right-hander is a single. Single for Balboni, but he's not going to try to steal, not even against Sakata, because he just doesn't run well. And that'll bring up Salazar. Clements to Salazar. 6-6 against the right-hander is a 1-15 double. That's an 18. It's a single and 2 stars. So that'll put runners on the corners. Runners are on the corners now for, not Frank White, obviously. It's for Larry Owen. I don't know how Frank White got in there out of order like that. It is Larry Owen, the catcher. He is a double play candidate, so they will play back for the double play if they can get it. Nothing on the Havoc roll. Infield, of course, looking for the double play. .47, and that is a single 2-star, so it doesn't matter. The run's going to come in. Going to third is Salazar. Owen with a base hit. Hit parade continues. And it's now 8-4. Still only 1 out for Willie Wilson. Infield is now going to be in because, you know what, they're going to play back because they want the double play. At this point, playing in is almost irrelevant. It's a 5-6, and that's a ground ball. Second base X. Second baseman is Randolph. He's a 2. 2 and a 13 for a second baseman. 2 and a 13 is a G1, so it's a possible double play. E17, he's got to avoid 3, 6, 15, and 18, which he does, so it's going to be a 4-6-3 double play hit into by Willie Wilson to end the inning. But a run comes in for the Royals. And we go to the bottom of the ninth. It is now 8-4. And Steve Farr looking to wrap it up and save the game and earn the split for the Kansas City Royals. Wayne Tollison will lead it off, followed by Claudell Washington and then Willie Randolph. Bottom of the ninth, 8-4. 4-9. Switch hitter batting left-handed is a strikeout. So Tollison is out of there. On strikes, here's Claudell. 2-4. That's a ballpark single check, 1-7, but that's a 4, so it will be a single for Claudell. That will send up Willie Randolph. Claudell not going to be held, not going to go anywhere. Far to Randolph. It's a 2-7 for Randolph. That's a single to center. Yankees are saying don't count them out yet. They're playing station to station. Actually, Washington will take third because he's a 15, not being held as a 16 to plus 2 arms to 18, and they want to keep Randolph at first base, so they will concede the third base bag as his run doesn't mean anything. Here's Mattingly. One long ball, and all of a sudden becomes interesting. 6-7 is a walk, and that's going to load the bases. And now the tying run is at the plate in Dave Winfield. He is the tying run at the plate. Infield looking for the double play with one out already. 4-9, and that's a huge strikeout for Steve Farr. Striking out Winfield with the bases loaded, and it's all up to Dan Pasqua. He's the last hope they have. Danny Pasqua does have some good pop in that column 3. If he can find it. Farr to Pasqua. He did find column 3, but he found the wrong numbers. 3-3 is a ground ball to second, and the ball game is over. The Yankees leave the bases loaded to end the ball game. Final score 8-4. The Royals earned the split to improve to 4-7 rather. Yankees dropped to 7-5. Let's get the totals for you real quick. For the Royals, 8 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. For the Yankees, 4 runs, 12 hits, and 2 errors. Yankees left 10 on base. Kansas City only left 2. Yankees have left 10 on base. Multiple times they left runners on base multiple times. 2 in the first, 2 in the second. And then bases loaded here in the ninth. So let's get the numbers. Gubicza gets the win. He proves to 1-1. The save is to Steve Farr. That'll be his first save, actually. Farr goes 1 1/3. 2 hits, a walk, and 3 strikeouts, no runs. 4 runs were charged to Gubicza. Clements goes an inning and 2/3, and he's going to give up 3 hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. So there you have it. The doubleheader is in the books. It's a split doubleheader. Yankees take the first game by the score of 8-3, and Kansas City returns the favor and wins game 2 8-4. So pretty interesting there. Combined total for Kansas City is 11 runs and 14 hits. Yankees 11 runs and 22 hits. So the split goes there. Tommy John drops to 0-2 now as the losing pitcher. So hope you first of all, if you made it all the way to the end, I'm very thankful and appreciative of that. And as a bonus, of course, you got to see Tabby. And I will play the other games from April 19th offline until we get to the game I'm going to do on a live stream, which will be this weekend most likely. And that is the game between the Twins and the Angels. So hopefully you survived this doubleheader, and hopefully you enjoyed it. It was an interesting experience doing this. Might do it again sometime. You never know. But I am kind of tired, to be honest with you. It is a little bit past 11 o'clock here tonight on Thursday night. So I'm going to upload this, and hopefully it'll be uploaded and ready to go tomorrow around 11 a.m. I'm hoping it will. Sometimes YouTube takes a long time, so it might be late Friday before it comes up. Who knows? We'll never know. But I'll put it up whenever it's available. So Yankees and Royals split. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.